Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is TheWalkthroughKing. Season 2 Reloaded update just dropped for Black Ops Cold War, and with it, it brought a bunch of new intel for Outbreak. So, as usual, we're going to do a guide covering all the new intel, showing you the exact locations and how to get and obtain all of it, as well as at the end of this video, I will showcase all of it in the main menu and play all of the audio dialogue so that way you could listen to it, just in case you don't want to go through and get all of the intel right away in game and you just want to hear all of the backstory and lore audio dialogue. Before we get into that though, if you guys are new here, definitely recommend subscribing and joining our amazing community, as well as if this guide helped you out, a like on this video would be appreciated. Let's get right into this. So first things first, we're just going to get the Dark Aether radio transmissions out of the way. There are only two. Just like all of the previous Dark Aether intel, you just have to do trials until you get an intel trial, and then you'll get both of these. At the time of recording this, it is bugged and you can't actually do them and obtain them in game. However, they won't unlock and show up in the main menu. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we are going to get the audio logs and radio transmissions for Requiem, Omega, and Maxis. Since there are 4 different Outbreak maps that you have to go onto to get these, to make it easy on you guys, I'm just going to cover them by map. So that way, if you get the map, you can get everything in one go and you don't have to switch around map to map while following this guide. Check the description as well, there will be timestamps to everything. Starting out, we are going to go onto the Alpine map. Maxis has one audio log on Alpine in the top right here in the maintenance room on this table. Maxis also has a radio transmission at the bottom right hillside cabins. You can find it inside on this cabinet. Just like usual, there is only the possibility of doing one radio transmission per group per game. It seems there's one radio for a transmission per map per group. I don't know all of them, however, I do know enough to get you by, so I'll show you all of those throughout this guide. Omega has one audio log on the right side of the map. It's outside on the patio area, just sitting on a table here. A radio transmission can also be found over here in the pro shop up on a pool table. Requiem has 2 audio logs on Alpine. One can be found in the middle of the map in the ski patrol building here. The second can be found all the way on the left side of the map, right over here, outside on the back of this truck. The radio transmission is over here in the bathhouse for Requiem on Alpine as well. Moving on to the map Golova, starting out with Maxis, she has one audio log in the lower farmstead over here. Maxis's radio transmission spot on Golova is over here at the rural houses, can be found on this table. Moving on to Omega, there are 2 audio logs. One can be found in the bottom right on the church grounds here on this table. Another one can be found in the middle of the map, in the rural houses over here on this table. I did not get the location for the Golova Omega radio transmission spot, but I will update that in the description. Moving on to Requiem, there is one audio log on Golova for them. It can be found on this water tower in the upper town in the bottom left side hand of the map. I also do not know the Golova Requiem radio transmission spot, but that will be in the description as well. Moving on to Ruka, there is one audio log for Maxis. It can be found in the backwoods cabin here. Maxis's radio transmission spot will be in the description. Moving on to Omega, there are 2 audio logs on Ruka. One can be found at the top over at the mobile ICBM site on this table, and another one can be found over at the bottom of the map at the missile silos area on the shelf. The radio transmission spot for Omega on Ruka is over here in the missile silo area in this tent. Moving on to Requiem, there are 2 audio logs for them on Ruka. The first can be found in the middle of the map at the base headquarters on this table. The second audio log can be found in the left side of the map at the old farm over here on this nightstand. The radio transmission spot for Requiem on Ruka will be in the description as well. Moving on to Sanatorium, Maxis has one audio log here. It can be found in the top left maintenance building, sitting over on this table here. The radio transmission for Maxis on Sanatorium can be found over here at the market square, just inside of this building on these crates. Moving on to Omega, they have 2 audio logs here on Sanatorium. Sanatorium. The first could be found on Sanatorium first floor over here on this desk. The second Omega audio log can be found on the Sanatorium second floor over here on this table in this room. The transmission location for Omega on Sanatorium can be found over here at the administration building, and it can be found up here on this desk. There is one audio log for Requiem on Sanatorium, and it can be found at the top side of the map in the middle over at the pier. It is in the back room of this building up here on this shelf. The radio transmission site for Requiem on Sanatorium can be found at the vacation homes here at the bottom right side of the map in this house on this desk. So that is all the intel that you can get across all 4 maps. There is quite a bit of it. Anyways, just to recap all of it, on each map there is one radio transmission for each group. I showed a bunch and the rest will be in the description. You can only do one for each group per game, so just do one and then reset if you are going for all of those right away. Alpine has 4 audio logs, 1 for Maxis, 1 for Omega, and 2 for Requiem. Golova has 4 audio logs, 1 for Maxis, 2 for Omega, and 1 for Requiem. Ruka has 5 audio logs, 1 for Maxis, 2 for Omega, and 2 for Requiem. And Sanatorium has 4 audio logs, 1 for Maxis, 2 for Omega, and 1 for Requiem. Then there's the 2 Dark Aether radio transmissions just by doing intels again. Anyways, I hope this guide helped you out. For the remainder of this video, I will be playing and showcasing all of the audio that you can obtain for doing these. Once again, if you guys are new here, why not subscribe? This has been the Walkthrough King, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Peace!
The Ethereum Harvesting Unit. To the layman, it's not terribly impressive, just a metal box with a canister in it, quietly sitting there, sucking in airborne Ethereum particles. But there is a reason my science teams risk their lives to place these units across the zone. With Ethereum concentrations greater in the Ural Mountains than anywhere else on Earth, these harvesting units are absolutely vital in our race against the Soviets to harness the power of the Dark Aether. Once filled, each canister must be collected for rocket transport to international waters. We considered other modes of travel, but rockets really are the quickest, cleanest way to get the samples out of the outbreak zone. Which is not to say retrieving these canisters is easy. They are heavy, cumbersome things, and once disengaged from the harvesting unit, there is a limited amount of time to get them to the rocket before the samples degrade. They also draw hostiles like flies to honey. I have lost more than a few people on collection duty. I have therefore requested that Field Op Strike Teams support all future canister retrieval efforts.
This is Dr. Elizabeth Gray, with a few thoughts on the new specimen analyzer stations. We're using them to run field tests on undead anatomy, specifically genetic mutations and structural changes in the cerebral cortex. It's a rather grisly affair, severing some poor infected bloke's head and putting it in a jar for a proper soft tissue mapping and DNA sequencing. But if we can identify the root stimuli and catalysts for all these physical transformations, we'll be one step closer to preventing them. Unfortunately, those heads aren't quite deceased, and they seem to call out to the other infected in the area. I say this because the creatures always come running whenever we perform a scan. I'm not quite sure if they're trying to rescue their fellow deadhead, or if it's more like sharks sensing an injured fish, but I'm working on a way to insulate the unit so that the sample's distress won't draw unwanted attention. Until then, my unnatural sciences teams may require some rather robust protection to operate the Dark Aether specimen analyzer.
Our strike team has taken down a lot of different hostiles, some bigger and badder than others. Every encounter is a risk to life and limb, but as far as my containment and security division is concerned, we learn the most from their engagements with apex-level threats, the Dark Aether's high-value targets, for lack of a better term. So we've come up with a way to guarantee they'll be tangling with an HVT. It's an energy cannon platform parked in a geosynchronous orbit over the Ural Mountains. When an uplink station is activated, the satellite fires a dimensional disruptor beam that literally pulls an HVT out of the Dark Aether into the AO. Strauss gave me a bit of grief when I suggested we call them HVTs. He still sees this enemy as a disorganized mob. But I see a hierarchy at work, and the top dogs are calling the shots. Of course, I may be reading too much into it. But even if these apex threats are as brain dead as their foot soldiers, the more of them we kill, the better.
Energy Research voice memo to Requiem strike team from Dr. Oscar Strauss. Subject: the proper care and feeding of essence conversion modules. First, the modules are currently in orbit. You must call them down with the launch control station we've already placed in the outbreak zone. Trust me, it's simple enough that even someone like you can use it. Once they land, the modules will absorb the essence of any infected you kill nearby. All you have to do is, well, what you do best. When they have reached full charge, that is when things get interesting. The unit's internal lab exposes the essence to refined Ethereum crystals. This establishes a connection with the objects in the Dark Aether dimension through a process called quantum entanglement. In layman's terms, the essence you collect is transformed into a Dark Aether object. It's our way of examining the contents of our parallel reality without requiring you to go there. You're welcome. Now get to work.
The recon rover. Ugh, this is a tough one for me. I mean, yes, I recognize the absolute need to send monkeys into the Dark Aether. It's the only way to record that dimension's effects on the physiology, and it's certainly a lot less risky than sending in my people, but I really do need to stop naming those monkeys. Anyhow, here's how it works. We leave a Dark Aether recon rover parked in an area where we've recorded instability in the dimensional membrane. Our strike team activates the rover, and then do their best to keep the nasties off until it can successfully enter a rift and start sending back telemetry. The data we're getting is remarkable. I'm starting to understand how Ethereum transmutes living organisms on a cellular level. We've even recorded the specific moment when the subject starts metabolizing Ethereum to continue functioning post-mortem. It's just difficult reviewing the data. They scream once they cross over. A lot. And then they go quiet. And then they start to laugh.
We've identified certain Ethereum crystal structures in the outbreak zone that the lab coats are calling power nodes. They're the biggest crystals out there, almost beautiful in their own way. But if what the experts are telling me is true, they are scary as hell. My people have determined these power nodes are here to fundamentally alter the environment. It's a process they call terraforming. Basically, they're slowly transforming the air and ground around them to make it more hospitable to the creatures crossing over from the Dark Aether. They do this by continually releasing Ethereum in its gaseous form, and we know that the only thing keeping those monsters inside the outbreak zones is their proximity to an Ethereum source. They wander too far away, and they drop dead. We've recorded all this on our instruments, but you don't need any equipment to know how powerful one of those crystals is. All you have to do is get up close to a power node, and it feels like, I don't know, like the shrooms are kicking in. Yeah, I said it. I saw some shit in Nam. But nothing that messed with your head as bad as this. So I've made it a priority for our strike teams to blow them up whenever they find one. No fucking way we're gonna just let these things turn Earth into their favorite vacation spot.
Strike team, I want to thank you on behalf of everyone here for what you accomplished in Vietnam. The intel you recovered from Omega Group is already paying off in new technology and weapons. This is especially important as we launch operations in the Ural Mountains. The AO you've entered is richer in Aetherium than anywhere else on the planet. But Omega is already hard at work there. Never forget, we are in a race against time to harness the Dark Aether before they do. The winner of this Aetherium arms race may well be decided by your actions here. So, we can't fuck this up. Weaver out. Just want to be clear on what's expected from you. Every department at Requiem has a stake in this. Energy research, unnatural sciences, security and containment. They all have special equipment in the field that we need you to test. Strauss, Gray, and Carver will give you the details at the appropriate time, and I expect you to follow their instructions to the letter. Remember, these experiments and operations aren't busy work. They're important. They're how we eventually win. Some of you have asked, repeatedly, about Agent Maxis. I get it. You risked your life to save her, then weeks went by with no word on her condition. I get it. Well, I'm finally authorized to let you know she's recovering. At least, physically. She's been under observation in an isolation ward, getting the best care the agency can provide, but she went through things in the Dark Aether that would have broken most people. It's a miracle she survived. She's not infected, she's on the mend, and everything you went through to bring her back, absolutely worth it.
Kravchenko, 21st of April 1983. 3 weeks since I accepted command of Spetsgruppe Omega. And I'm beginning to wonder if Comrade Andropov was out of his mind when he created this spook show. My first order of business was a thorough review of Omega Group activities since their formation in '75. What a fucking joke. The study of psychotronic phenomena. What does that even mean? Biocommunication, bioenergetics, bioinformation. Words invented by paper pushers to make ghost stories sound real. I read hundreds of their bullshit reports and found nothing useful. So, I reassigned the authors to take biolatrines. But if Andropov was not out of his mind, if he saw some genuine operational value in any of this nonsense, I will give this 1 more month, and then I will pull the plug. July 1983. Comrade Valentina, I am recording this meeting for my records.
Of course, Colonel. I take it you have viewed the project and station footage.
Nuta, where did you find this film?
Gathering dust in a restricted portion of Lubyanka's sub-basement record storage. Someone went to great lengths to bury the incident back in '45. But times have changed since then.
Indeed. That cowboy actor and his Strategic Defense Initiative have upset the stalemate between us and the West. I asked for something to tip the scales back in our favor. You think this is it?
There is only one way to find out. Allow me to reactivate the end station cyclotron. If I can harness their access to another dimension, we can give the motherland a tactical advantage the Americans can only dream of.
And if you cannot harness it?
Then bury the bunker in concrete and declare the place off limits. And maybe leave flowers every year to remember my sacrifice.
I don't care about sacrifice. Only results. I will authorize your mission. But you had better bring back something I can use.
Understood, Colonel. Understood.
Kravchenko, 8th of July, 1984.
And Dr. William Peck, lead research.
Shut up, you little worm. You're lucky to be alive.
Sorry, sir.
Silence. This is not a dialogue. You are here to receive your orders. There is a plane standing by to take you to the Ural Mountains outbreak zone. You will oversee a special operation there involving a particularly rich deposit of Aetherium crystals. My people will brief you once you're airborne.
You won't regret this, sir. And, please let Goriv know I'm off the hook. I'm worried he still wants to kill me.
Goriv will be there with you, shadowing your every step. Because you are not off the hook, Dr. Peck. Do not fail me ever again. Goriv, before you depart for the Urals, I need a word with you.
New instructions, Colonel?
No. It is the same matter that has vexed me ever since Requiem's arrival at End Station. Whoever leaked Omega intelligence to them remains unidentified. If they did not die at Outpost 25, the traitor may still be among us.
I am working on it night and day, sir. My apologies that it has taken this long.
We could have found out the informant's name back in Vietnam. But that idiot American tossed the only person who knew into the Dark Aether. What kind of genius throws away his trump card?
Peck may be book smart, but he has no common sense, and even less self-control. But I swear to you, Colonel, the informant will be exposed. The only question is if I will be able to bring them in alive. If I find myself left with no options...
Do what you must, Goriv. They deserve to die slowly. As long as the leak is plugged, I will be satisfied.
William Peck, personal notes. Arrived in the Ural Mountain outbreak zone 3 days ago. It was a little hard to believe the briefing I was given on the flight here. But now that I see it for myself... To paraphrase Archimedes, holy shit. This is even better than I hoped for. The breach opening right on top of an installation like this may have given me the key to making an inversion warhead actually work. I'm a fucking genius. I already knew of the catalyzing effect Aetherium has on plutonium. That was how I got my portal chamber to work at Outpost 25. But the readings I'm getting from the crystals here, we've never seen Aetherium this pure, in the wild, so to speak. You, up there, be careful. That's not something you want to bang too hard. Understand? Yeah, they understand. These boys look scared out of their wits. Just wait till they hear the next item on my shopping list. We're gonna need some special helpers to make this work. Rounding them up will not be easy.
I just returned from the Kremlin, where I presented a list of proposed targets for Operatia Inversia to the General Secretary and select members of the Committee for State Security. The results were mixed. I should be pleased that the overall plan was so well received. Perhaps they realized that without bold action, the Soviet Union could collapse within a decade. And Inversia is nothing if not bold. It would be a death blow to the West, which may account for the committee's preference of two particular targets. But I pushed hard for Berlin. It would have afforded me further opportunities to complete my preparations there. The Colonel did question my fixation on Berlin, but I just told him I hate the Germans. That is always enough of an excuse for veterans of the great patriotic war like Kravchenko.
William Peck, supplemental notes. Well, it took a week and cost the lives of some brave young men, but we finally did it. We caught 4 of those floaty blue bastards alive. Okay, sure. By we, I mean the highly trained operators in Omega Group. I'm not exactly the field ops type. But they could never have locked down those lightning bugs without the gear I built for them. I mean, have you ever tried to cage something that can teleport? Now, one big help in this whole process is how attracted the blue guys are to the crystals. The big ones, the atmosphere converters. The purer the crystal, the more irresistible. I think that was the first tip-off that I could co-opt the way they metabolize Ethereum for my own purposes. Yeah, Sparky, I know it hurts, but you gotta take one for the team. We all serve a greater good now. And I promise, if Operatia Inversia stays on schedule, you won't be suffering for long.
Gorev to Peck. Hello, my American friend. I trust you find Mother Russia more hospitable than the jungles of Vietnam? Hospitable? I've gone from sweating my ass off to freezing my nuts off, so it was a rhetorical question. I do not really care about your comfort. Only that you do not squander the second chance we have very generously given you. Yes, of course. Believe me, got a lot to work with here. Just keep Kravchenko informed of your progress. You may be top scientist, but it is you under microscope now. Fail him again, and you will be mining Ethereum crystals while Dr. Valentina takes your place. I think she would very much enjoy this. With all due respect, Valentina can't even begin to understand the Dark Aether like I do. See, that is point. No more secrets, no more hoarding information so you are only one with answers. Share what you know. Get everyone up to speed, as you like to say, is your best move if you want to keep other eye. I will do my best. Oh, I know you will. Because if there is one thing you Americans love, it is a comeback story. This is your chance to make your friend Gorev proud. And I know you do want to make me proud. Hello, Pack. Remember how you allowed Spy to infiltrate your ranks at Outpost 25? Remember how this informant compromised our valuable research lead over Americans? Look, I know I screwed up, but the mole's dead now, right? I mean, I'm the sole survivor from that whole Vietnam fiasco. Fiasco. Such a colorful word. Almost sounds like fun. You know what is not fun? That we still have massive fucking intelligence leak, thanks to your not dead mole, whom Kravchenko once taken alive. Alive, huh? He must have plans for the poor schmuck. You will be schmuck if we do not figure out who it is. So, put big brain to work, and contact me immediately if you identify this son of bitch. Am I clear? Crystal. Peck, Gorev here. Bad news, little man. My scouts confirmed that Requiem is now conducting operations in the Ural Mountains breach zone. How is that even possible? They are desperate, but we cannot risk them finding out about your current project. Are you saying I should lay low somewhere? So brave. No, Peck. Operatia Inversia is to remain your priority. The Colonel already mentioned it to Kremlin. Do not make him look bad. Just have your people keep their eyes open. Report any signings of Requiem, but do not engage. Leave that to Spetsnaz. We live for this shit.
Good evening, Agent Maxis. I am Major Carver. I hope you're recovering from your ordeal.
Major, would that make you Requiem's highest-ranking military representative?
Please, call me Mac. My friends do. Now, I'm gonna get down to brass tacks. We are fighting a war that we both know we're losing. I was hoping your experiences could shed some light on just how far the enemy has gotten ahead of us.
Which enemy? Are you talking about Omega? Or the others?
When you say others, I'm assuming you mean hostile elements from within the Dark Aether itself. Are they mobilizing? Are their forces strategizing an assault on our world? What kind of technology do they possess? Is there some kind of hierarchy we should be aware of?
Well, Mac, to answer your questions in order, yes, yes, yes. I'm not sure, probably. But I'd be lying if I said I understood it. The whole experience of being trapped there was confusing.
With all due respect, Agent Maxis, as a former agent of the BND, there have doubtless been times in your career, your life, where lying and misleading those around you was very much essential.
Do you think I'm lying to you, Major Carver?
No. But I am concerned about the content of some transmissions you sent while you were in the Dark Aether. Some of them seem to imply that you yourself might have caused the outbreak at Outpost 25.
I don't know how that would be possible. Do you?
In recent months, we've seen a lot of things we never thought possible. So, if any details do come back to you, I trust you will let us know.
Of course. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to get some sleep.
Well, isn't this nice? I thought you might appreciate hearing a familiar voice. We have a lot in common, after all.
I'm not sure that we do. We're both Germans, but I think the similarity ends there.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Are you ashamed of your nationality for some reason?
Not ashamed. Not at all. But our nationality isn't what defines us.
True. Very true.
What do you want, Dr. Strauss?
My reputation precedes me. I'm flattered. Humbled, even.
Oh, I'm not sure you've ever been humbled, Strauss. In fact, I'm not even sure you're that much different from Peck.
My, such anger. You don't like him, do you? I can't say that I'm surprised. I mean, he did treat you very badly.
I don't like repeating myself, but again I have to ask. What do you want?
Requiem are very interested in the gaps in your memory regarding the events at Outpost 25. particularly its destruction and the question of your role in it.
I was angry and confused. But that doesn't mean I could somehow unleash all the forces of the Dark Aether upon Omega.
I was thinking your anger was perhaps directed more at Peck. I would understand the desire for revenge.
You really think I had the power to do that, Strauss?
I'm more concerned about the possibility of you doing it again.
Don't worry. I'm not a danger to you. Or anyone else.
What about yourself?
Don't you have other things to do, Strauss?
Hi, Sam. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Gray. I was wondering if you felt well enough for a bit of a chat?
Sure, Liz. Why not?
I don't really like being called Liz. That was my mum's name. I prefer Elizabeth, if that's okay. Oh, wait, I just realized. Do you prefer Samantha?
Samantha, Sam, Maxis. Doesn't really matter to me. What do you want, Dr. Gray?
I just wanted to ask you some questions. Truth is, we're all a little bit surprised how well you're doing after your time in... well, you know.
You don't really know how well I'm doing, or how long I was there, do you?
That was one of the things I wanted to talk about. We do know that time moves differently there. Slower or faster, not sure. Suppose it's all relative, really.
I was there a long time. A very long time. So long I thought I'd never get out.
I'm sorry. I really am. But that's what's so unusual. Normally when people come back, they're more damaged. Physically and emotionally.
What makes you think I'm not damaged?
The only thing we've actually been able to detect is the change in your eyes. I've never seen anything like it. They're almost iridescent. Do things look different to you?
I see things differently, if that's what you mean. Sometimes the light hurts my eyes. Especially if I'm tired.
Are you tired now?
Would you mind switching the lights off on your way out? Weaver.
Hello, Sam.
You look serious.
My colleagues tell me you've not exactly been cooperative. Or forthcoming. Instead, you've been evasive. Obtuse, even.
Ain't that just like me?
This isn't a joke, Sam. I'm worried about you. We all are.
After what I've been through, do you honestly think I'm joking?
Sam.
I thought I'd died and gone to hell. I thought everything and everyone I ever knew was gone forever.
You've been to hell before, though, Sam. We both have. I was never going to leave you there to die.
Like you did the boy.
That's not fair, Sam. That was a different situation. We both did all we could.
But not enough. He's still dead, isn't he?
I can see you're agitated, so I'm gonna let you get some rest. I hope you feel better soon. I don't want to upset you.
Why? Are you worried I'll destroy everything like you think I did at Outpost 25? Weaver! Well, it's good to be part of a team, right? If I'm honest, I felt like a bit of a lab rat lately. I've been poked, prodded, questioned, even interrogated. It's almost like they don't trust me. I'm starting to understand how they feel. I'm not sure if I can trust them anymore. Even Weaver. So, after an extended debriefing with Requiem's senior staff, they don't want to clear me for field ops. Carver, Strauss, Gray, Weaver. They needed a unanimous vote to authorize my return to active duty. 3 out of 4 isn't bad, but it's not enough. Anyway, Ravenov. He helped you, right? He helped me. He has conviction, and the courage to stand up for his beliefs. He's doing what's right. He's a good man. I hope you've come to trust him like I have. I think he could be key to overturning Omega, because there has to be a key to making all this stop. I don't know how much they really tell you about the Dark Aether, but I've seen it. I've felt it. No matter how big this Cold War is between East and West, Requiem and Omega, there's an even bigger one threatening to boil over. We are interested in them, eager to know how we can exploit their world for our advantage. But believe me, they're just as interested in us. The door swings both ways. What do you think of Liz? Sorry, I mean Elizabeth Gray, doctor. I like her, even though I don't think she's actually a medical doctor. How are you feeling, by the way? Are you seeing any signs? I'm not the only one who's been exposed to the Dark Aether here. I'm the same person now as the one that you dealt with. But I think that I've changed. I try not to show it, but you can probably see it in my eyes. I can see it in yours too. I hope we are okay. Sometimes it's hard to remember how all this started. Do you feel the same? We are all soldiers. We are all fighting our wars. For our countries, for our brothers, for our sisters. When you're faced with a seemingly insurmountable threat, it's easy to forget how it all began. Or to imagine how it all ends. The Dark Aether threatens to consume us all. That much I'm sure of. And that's why I fight. It holds a power over us. And I think I'm afraid that it could one day consume me. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've questioned my role. Did Weaver tell you that I was the one who caused the outbreak at Outpost 25? Even if he didn't say it out loud, I think he may be right. No matter what happens, I hope all of you will find the strength in your hearts to do what is right. Whenever you are faced with a great darkness, you must do all you can to meet it with light. This is something Ravenov knew. He knew he could no longer stand by as Omega's evil reigned. That is true courage. I hope I can do the same.
Hello? Are you receiving? Is anybody
Anybody out there? Testing. Testing. My readings indicate contact is established. I can only hope it is you on the other end. My comrade in arms. My friend. I hope my voice is not a disappointment. I do not know what you imagined I might sound like, but I am no one special. Just a man who wants to help. Yes. As you can tell from my accent, I am Russian. I did not tell you this at first because of the suspicion it would have provoked. Such is the age you grew up in. Such is this Cold War. But there was a time when my people and yours fought side by side against the greatest evil our world ever produced. Now we face something even worse. Perhaps that can bring us all back together. Pizdets! The signal is starting to fade. I will work on this problem and contact you later. Do not give up on me. I will not give up on you. Hello, it is me again. Your friend on the other side. Are you enjoying the beautiful Ural Mountains? No? Believe me, I understand. It is hard to love a place that is always trying to kill you. By now, you have probably met some new enemies. The electric men that float in midair. The armored monsters that leap and throw fire. I do my best to steer clear of them here, but avoiding conflict is not a luxury you can afford. I have managed to kill a few of the floaters, but it is never easy. The cowards jump away when injured, and they can strike from afar. The armored ones, on the other hand, they jump at you when provoked. They were once Soviet fighters who came here looking for crystals. And they paid with their lives. They are vicious and hard to put down. Hit them with everything you have. Such beasts must not be allowed